What is up guys, Andy Forest Team Runner here, and welcome back to another video, and today I'm giving you guys an update on the Nike ZoomX STREAKFLY after 100 miles. Today's run took the Nike ZoomX STREAKFLY up and over the 100 mile mark, and as always with these 100 mile update reviews, I'm excited to give you my thoughts on the wear and tear, how I've been using the shoe, and if I will continue to use this shoe moving forwards. Just a pre-warning, the wear and tear section might shock you a little bit. It's not quite doing as I'd hoped it would, and that actually is thanks to some of you viewers out there spotting it in my last video. We're going to go through all of that very, very shortly. If you're excited for today's video, guys, make sure you give it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and we'll start with the wear and tear. So let's start with the upper and the midsole before we move on to the outsole, which is where some of you, as I just said, eagle-eye viewers, spotted it in my last video. You said, Andy, is that some outsole wear I'm seeing there already? And then I think it was Tim that then commented saying, yeah, that looks a little bit worrying. So, you know, well done guys. I usually do my due diligence and check everything as I'm about to make these videos, but you made me check it before I got to the 100 mile mark. So before this latest run, I was on 94 miles, I think it was. And I thought I'd just really give this shoe a good inspection. And yeah, you're right, there is some significant wear there. I just have not paid any attention to that whatsoever. And we'll talk about that very, very shortly. So in terms of the upper though, everything is holding up really nicely. Everything is looking good, feeling good, albeit it's now a nice off-white color, nice and dirty. That's how I like it. Shoes are getting a good use. We'll talk about how I've been using them very, very shortly. And also the midsole feels absolutely top-notch, still really good, just as if I got it out of the box. So in terms of durability in that side of it, I'm feeling really good about the shoe. I'm feeling like, yep, the ZoomX is doing good, the upper's feeling good, everything in that aspect's doing good. Where this thing is starting to wear more significantly than I expected was on the outsole. Now, I do state in most of my 100 mile videos, you don't want to see much wear and tear at this stage. The only exception for that I've really ever had is Hoka's, and that's just kind of where a lot of it looks like you're shedding a layer of skin on the bottom of them, especially on the Rincons and the Mach 4s, but it's not a performance affecting thing, it's more aesthetic more than anything, and I'm just hoping to goodness this is the same. So I'm going to go through this really slowly. I'm going to start at the bottom and I'm going to go all the way up to the top. So what you'll see here, just to give you a very quick overview, is we've got the outsole rubber at the top here. This is then exposed midsole with a couple of strips here of hardened rubber just to protect that back area. You can see I've got a little bit of wear on there already. When I get sloppy and I heel strike and go down hills and stuff, that's wearing out. Look at the midsole there. First of all, I've got a couple of stones that have gone in there. Let me just try and find those. So there's a stone in there, and there's a stone in there. So that's turfed up nicely. The stones are still in there. I have not pulled them out there. In terms of here as well, you can see there's quite a bit of wear. Now, if you've watched my videos and you've watched me run in them, you'll know that I'm overpronating slightly in these shoes, slightly more than normal, and that's just due to the softer midsole, but the midfoot shank holds me steady. It doesn't make me go too over, doesn't cause any ankle pain, doesn't cause any issues, but naturally with the softer midsole, I do roll inwards a little bit more. So I have seen a little bit more wear here. And as I move on to the outsole rubber, you'll notice here, especially, well, you can see on the toe-off area, it's really getting quite bold at the top there. The grooves are slowly disappearing. But where it was quite significant, actually, and I noticed, was this toe-off area here. So naturally, through the gait cycle, most of us, we land on the outside of our foot, roll through, and toe off on the big toe. And you'll see here where I am overpronating a little bit more in the shoe, and I am kind of putting more pressure through this side. You can see here, I've got some good wear coming on that outsole tread. Now, I've been thinking about this a lot, and I've been thinking to myself, looking at my Vaporflies at 200 miles and going, premium price, premium product. I'm getting more, like, it's better quality rubber on the outsole. Is it a different ZoomX? I don't know. This ZoomX feels very, very nice, but I'm paying a premium £240 for that shoe. It's holding up really well. I've paid $135 for this one. It's now degrading quite a bit faster. Is it a case of premium price, premium product, less premium price, less premium product? I don't know. I'm really quite anxious to see what happens. I mean, first and foremost, this is getting to 200 miles because this is not affecting anything at the moment. But just be warned, when you see a 200-mile review update, this might be slightly different. So in terms of wear and tear, upper and midsole looking good, outsole looking a bit dicey. So on to how I've been using this shoe, and I know I spent way too long there rambling about the wear and tear, but you guys know it's important for me to show that sort of stuff, so I'll try and keep these next couple of bits brief. How have I been using it? It's been an exclusive speed shoe for me. So in terms of the very first run, I did a moderate run in the shoe to test it out, loved it. Since then, I really nailed on that this was just a speed day shoe for me. In terms of racing, I will probably race in a Streakfly at some point, just a race that's not an A or even probably a B race, probably just like a fun race. I'll go and give it a go, but for me, the Next Percents and the Alpha Flies top trump this thing, but I haven't got a better shoe in my rotation at the moment for speed work. I cannot rave about this shoe enough. I love it so much. I'm really gutted actually to see how fast that it is deteriorating on the outsole, and I really hope that it's just aesthetic and I don't find that all of this outsole rubber grip towards the top starts to go and I start to lose traction, because I kind of feel like that's what's going to be happening sooner rather than later. But it has purely been a speed work shoe, critical velocity stuff, threshold work, all of that sort of stuff. Been taking it up to a maximum of 10 to 12 miles and as little as 4 to 5 miles. So I kind of find in that window is its sweet spot for me. I wouldn't consider it for easy runs. I certainly wouldn't consider it as a long run shoe, but that speed work is exactly where I find this thing hits the nail on the head. So that leads me to answering the question, will I continue to use this shoe moving forward? Well, I just did say I'm going to give you guys a 200-mile update in this thing. So yes, I will continue to use it. I'm not finding that outsole wear is having any effect on performance whatsoever, but obviously there's going to come a point where it does, and I need to really mentally dial in and work out where it is, because do you know what, if it comes at 150 or 200 miles and we as a consumer are paying £135 for this shoe, and just to clarify, I did pay for this one with my own money, then the pound per mileage thing on this shoe is not going to be so good. If I can get it up and over 200 and still feel like it's really good, I'll start to kind of settle down a little bit and kind of accept that, all right, I'm not going to get, this isn't a 500-mile shoe, but it's going to get me decent bang for my buck. Plus the enjoyment I get in this shoe, I love it. I just love it. So for me, if I can get this thing up and over 200 miles, I'll be happy. I mean, closer to 300 would be ideal, and then I would consider it an absolute diamond of a speed day shoe. But overall, I've got to say, I'm concerned now about getting it to 200 and see how much more wear that there is going to be on this outsole. But yeah, 100% I'll be taking this forward and using it exactly the same as I have been. No different. I don't intend on changing it. Certainly not, as I said, going to be a long run shoe or an easy day shoe. It's going to continue to be my staple in my lineup for that speed day work. So there we go. Those are my thoughts on the Nike ZoomX STREAKFLY after 100 miles. Everything was going great until you guys spotted that outsole wear, and it made me dig a little bit deeper. Have a look and just really inspect the shoe, because as I said, I've been loving it, just getting it ready, lacing it up on all of my speed day sessions, and I continue to do that, and I will continue to do that. I absolutely love them. They are just they're just my favorite. I cannot shout from the rooftops more about them. They are at the moment my shoe of the year, but to be perfectly honest with you, I know they're not going to keep that crown for very, very long, because there's going to be plenty more shoes that we're going to be testing later in the year. But I'd love to know how you're getting on with your Streakflys, how many miles you've got in yours. I know we've had a couple more drops since that prototype colorway drop, and I'd love to hear how many miles you've got in them, if you're enjoying them, if you're not enjoying them, and more importantly, how your outsole wear and tear is looking after the volume of miles and kilometers that you have put in. For me, as I said, I'm going to continue to use this thing really, really hard on these sessions, really put it through its paces, I really want to tear this shoe up, you know, I really want to just take it to the well and back and really give it a good test. Hopefully that's what I'm doing at the moment, and if I can continue to do that, I'll be able to give you guys some really solid feedback. But anyway, that's it from me, guys. If you enjoyed this one and looking forward to the 200 mile update, please do give this video a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Until then.